All right, we will call this regular council meeting for June 23rd to order. It's 3 p.m. and I please ask Councillor Messaros to read the land acknowledgement.
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. The town of Innisfil acknowledges that we are meeting on Treaty 7 territory, the ancestral and traditional territory of the Blackfoot Confederacy, Kainai, Piikani, and Siksika, as well as the Tsuut'ina First Nation and Stoney Nakoda First Nation. We acknowledge that this territory is home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3, within the historical Northwest Métis homeland. We acknowledge the many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit who have lived in and cared for these lands for generations. We are grateful for the traditional knowledge keepers and elders who are still with us today and those who have gone before us. We make this acknowledgement as an act of reconciliation and gratitude to those whose territory we reside on.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Messaros. 2.1, are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? No, could I please have someone make a motion to adopt the agenda as presented? Councillor Dunham.
Mayor Barclay, I'll make that motion.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Carried, thanks. And we'll go into 3.1, the regular council meeting minutes for June the 9th. Councillor Bates.
I'll move the June 9th minutes
Okay,
adopted as.
Thank you. All in favor? Okay, carried. And then 3.2, agenda and priorities meeting for June the 16th. Councillor Wing.
Yes, Mayor Barclay, I'll move those minutes.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Okay, carried. So we will move into 4.1, RFD with Director Vickers.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Barclay. Okay, so we do have a report that came forward last week regarding a request from the town of Nanton. There have been no changes to the resolution since we last reviewed it, and we're bringing it back for council's consideration just because the deadline for the submission is June 30th. So Nanton is asking Innisfil to second a resolution they're submitting to the Alberta Municipalities Fall Convention. It's focused on improving funding access for sports and recreation facilities, something that directly impacts small and medium-sized communities just like ours. AB Munis advised Nanton to contact us because the resolution was similar to one that we submitted last year in 24. While ours didn't pass last year, the issue does remain important, and Nanton is hoping to carry out the conversation forward with our support. So their resolution is asking AB Munis to advocate for one of two things. So to either amend the Active Communities Initiative so municipalities can apply directly for funding, or create a new funding program specifically for municipalities to support sport and recreation infrastructure. The resolution also highlights a key concern that applies to us: the limited capital funding available through programs like LGFF and the Canada Community Building Fund shouldn't force small and mid-sized communities like ours to choose between core infrastructure projects and community recreation priorities. These are both critical to our quality of life and long-term sustainability, and we shouldn't be put in a position where it's either roads or water or our pools and our arena. So Nanton's resolution strengthens the message we delivered last year, and it continues the push to make these provincial programs more accessible and equitable for smaller communities. So our recommendation does remain the same as it did last year, that council consider supporting the resolution as a seconder, and any other feedback you have now would be fine, but just remember that the deadline is June 30th. So.
Thank you, Director Vickers. So has this resolution been approved by Alberta Munis yet, or it goes in June 30th?
It has to go in by June 30th for them to approve it, yes.
I guess one thing I would like us to consider is, like, the Active Communities Fund is not much money. It was going to be 80 million over 4 years. It turned out to be 30 million over 3 years. Yeah. So it's only 10 million for the entire province. So I think I would rather the focus be on creating a recreation, that there was supposed to be a community recreation infrastructure fund. That was the campaign promise. So I would like them to focus on that as opposed to just having access to the active communities, because I don't feel that's adequate.
So you would like the motion to get rid of I and just have like number 1 and just have number 2 with a focus on creating a new annual or biannual funding program?
Or an increase to the Active Communities Fund that we would be able to apply for, or the new fund.
So can we change I to say amend the Active Communities Initiative to make municipalities eligible and increase the budget? or to create a new annual or biannual. So we can keep that one as long as they also advocate to increase the budget. Okay, so can we change that motion to just include those as well as to increase the budget? Okay.
Sure, well, I'll see what council colleagues want, feel, and Councillor Dunham.
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. Yeah, as amended, as Mayor Barclay said, I would definitely support the motion. I feel through our own journey to the modernization of our aquatic center that we've run into so many roadblocks, and definitely the lack of funding from the provincial level that I think it's important that we carry on with this. I was very disappointed last year that we had such a lack of support on our resolution, and I think us getting behind this one is important. And if they were to increase the active community initiative, but I think potentially going in a new direction, so having those two options is good, and I would support it that way.
Thank you. Anybody else? Councillor Bates?
Well, I think I can agree with making that recommendation, but if Nanton doesn't want to do that, I would still personally second their motion.
Okay.
And just to support that, I know the Mid-Sized Towns Mayor's Caucus, we know that there's been a lot of data gathering through that, as you're aware, Director Vickers, and you know, I can certainly say with confidence that everybody is struggling with lack of capital funding available for their recreation infrastructure.
That's right.
Okay, so somebody just make the motion, please, kind of as per our comments. Councillor Wing.
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. I would move that council second the motion made by the town of Nanton regarding recreation infrastructure funding, whereas Alberta municipalities advocate to the government of Alberta to create a new annual or biannual funding program for municipalities that enables them to effectively leverage their available capital reserves and local partnerships for new and existing recreation infrastructure for the benefit of their communities. Do we want to include that if they...
And increase the active.
And
community,
increase, yes.
And have municipalities eligible for that, because we're not right now.
Right. Yeah, funding program for municipalities. Yeah, with an increased amount?
Yes.
Okay, but do we want to include anywhere in there that if the moving community doesn't want to take that first piece out, we're fine with it staying in?
I don't think we really need.
Don't need that in the motion,
Okay.
okay.
Okay, we'll support them. No, sounds good. Any further discussion on this? No, all in favor? Okay, carried. Good luck, Nanton. And we'll move into our council action control. So when somebody's ready, just have a motion to accept the action council control as presented, please. Councillor Heistad.
Yeah, I'll make that motion to accept the council control.
Perfect, thanks.
Thanks.
Does anybody have any questions about anything on our short list? Okay, all in favor? Carried. Okay, we'll move into 5.1 with Director Jenkins and RFD for Discovery Wildlife Park sign request.
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. So we're looking to request consideration of a private sign for Discovery Wildlife Park to be placed within municipally managed lands at 4203 52nd Street Close. Juanita, if you want to put the map up. I do apologize to council that I just assumed that you knew where I was talking about. So we've received a request from Discovery Wildlife Park to replace a directional entrance sign that has been at the corner of Highway 2A and 51st Street for a number of years. As a major tourist attraction in the community, clear directions to the park is essential. Currently, online navigation services often direct visitors to the park's service entry along Highway 2A, which poses a safety risk due to the uncontrolled rail crossing. In addition, to enhance both the aesthetics and the maintenance of this high-traffic area at the corner of 2A and 51st, the town has recently entered into a license to occupy agreement with the owners of 4203 52nd Street. If you want to put that map back up there, Juanita. So that area outlined in the blue at the south end of the property, the town is taking over the maintenance of that area. We've been working with the property owner. There's going to be some trees planted, and then we're going to work to
maintain it, just as an important sort of gateway and entryway, trying to improve the aesthetics of that area. So the installation of this, so the installation, we're looking for consideration of council pursuant to the town's policy for signage on municipal lands. So typically, third-party advertising is not permitted on private property through the land use bylaw. But however, now that the town is maintaining it as public open space, we're looking for council consideration of allowing this sign. The specific location within that blue outline plant or outlined area will be determined as we get trees planted, that sort of thing. But we will be looking there, and then within the agenda package, there is a mock-up of what the proposed sign would look like to direct people from that 2A to make the left turn to be able to access the park.
Perfect. Thank you, Director Jenkins. Could I please have someone make the recommended motion? Councillor Messaros.
Thank you. I move that council approve the placement of a sign for Discovery Wildlife Park within the portion of 4203 52nd Street close that is subject to a license to occupy agreement with the property owner.
All right, thank you. Does anybody have any comments? Councillor Dunham.
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. I would definitely support the motion. I mean, I know when I travel, any wayfinding signs definitely help me get where I'm going, and frequently I've ended up in the wrong place just by using Google Maps or Waze, that sort of thing. So yeah, I would definitely support this.
Okay, thanks. Councillor Heistad.
Yeah, I support it as well. Just, it's, there's a lot going on in that area, so thank you, Your Worship.
Okay, thanks. Councillor Bates.
Well, not to be left out. No, I think the presentation covered all the reasons, so I support it.
Yeah, for sure, and it's nice to see some progress being made on the corner property. I know it's certainly a topic for MPC quite often, so getting there slowly but surely. So, all right, so we have a motion. All in favor? All right, carried. Thank you. And then we'll move into 5.2 with Director Jenkins as well, and sponsorship request.
Perfect. Thank you, Mayor Barclay. So this is another request for sponsorship pursuant to council's new policy. So this will be the fourth request coming from the Innisfil Eagles hockey team for their Blades and Birdies golf tournament. Attached in the package is the sponsorship outline. It does indicate $1,100 is a whole sponsorship. To date this year, council has allocated $2,500 to the rodeo, $1,100 to the Harvest Fest, and $400 to the Rotary Golf Tournament for a total of $4,000. The budget, there's a $5,000 budget approved in the 2025 operating budget for sponsorship requests of this type.
So there's $1,000 left.
There's $1,000 is the remaining balance
Okay.
in that line, yes.
Quick math. Okay. Okay. Councillor Heistad.
Your Worship, I'll remove myself from the gallery because I sit on the board, and I think it's appropriate that I'm not around during the discussion, if that works. Thank you.
I think you need to be honest with you, like
Well-
nonprofits are exempt from pecuniary interest because unless you're getting paid, but,
Yeah, no, I think it's best that,
Okay.
that I'm not. I'll just go into the office. Thank you.
okay, bye. Okay. Councillor Heistad, can I ask before you go, since you are on the board, so is there an opportunity to be a whole sponsor and put in one player as opposed to 3 or 4?
1,100, I think.
Yeah, it's 4.
Up to 4, but if you want 1 or 2 or however you want to do it, it's up to you guys.
No, just curious if that was an option.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, any thoughts? Councillor Bates.
Well, I have a couple thoughts. I certainly appreciate and patronize the Eagles, and I think they've found a sustainable model to play. But I'm concerned, and find it awkward because I'm concerned that there's a precedent potentially for numerous sports organizations who would probably come forth and argue that they might bring just as much to the town in the way of hotels and meals, et cetera, and patronization of businesses. It's ironic because just before it came, I happened to look at Facebook, which I don't normally look at, and I see the Dolphins begging for somebody to sponsor them to have ice for the drinks they plan to have for this weekend. So, and I know minor hockey, minor ball, when they have tournaments, they fill the town with lots of stuff. So I find that a bit awkward. And then I look at the lucrative agreement that we have with the Eagles with the arena on the wall advertising. And nobody else has that. So I find that, yeah. And I realize it's a golf tournament, and the only other golf tournament that I'm aware of that we sponsor is the Rotary. I was searching my mind. I thought it was 500 this year that we
I think it was 4, yeah.
I thought it was slightly higher than the previous year. Was it 400? Yeah, so it had gone
There you
up.
go. Thought we checked that.
So my own opinion is that I struggle with the awkwardness of that sponsorship in the face of all the fundraising that they get. But if we were to do it, I don't feel we should go any higher than what we got going on with Rotary. That's just my opinion.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Councillor Wing?
Thanks, Mayor Barclay. I struggle with this one as well, and I agree with Councillor Bates that this will potentially open the door to other adult-facing organizations then that are looking for money to operate their organizations without actually talking at all about the benefit to the community. So the Eagles aren't raising money this year to go away to a national tournament. This is basically just to offset their operating costs as a team. I appreciate the Eagles, and you all know how I feel about the Eagles. But yeah, I think the town has a solid partnership with them. I don't see any real value coming back to the town, and I've talked to you all at length about for a sponsorship, we need to be getting recognition back. We need to be getting our name on something. We need other people or other communities to see that we're supportive. And in the case of this particular golf tournament, I just don't see that happening. So yeah, I don't support this request at this time.
Okay, thank you. Do we happen to have sponsorship policy available, or not really? Just seeing what I think it said something in there about like we should be sponsoring organizations that are giving back to the community in the way of projects and that kind of thing. Yeah, so I agree. I mean, it's awkward. You know, you want to help, but I think, as Councillor Bates said, we do help a lot, and we've got the advertising agreement with them, and you know, this is really operations, right? It's not like they're raising funds to put it into something for the community, so. Oh, okay, there we go. Okay, so eligibility. Okay, well, if somebody would like to make a motion then that whatever you feel you're comfortable with.
Thanks, Mayor Barclay. I'd struggle with this as well. I mean, being on the CSSC committee and just all the revisions that we've gone through with the different policies through that, things have been bounced around, but this, once again, we already support them in a number of ways. And we just at our last CSSC meeting had an application which potentially could have opened up a can of worms, and I see exactly the same thing with this. We didn't go with that other one, and I just personally feel that I can't support this because of potentially where it could lead us to.
So then would we like a motion then to not provide sponsorship for the golf tournament because it doesn't fit with our policy?
As per what Mayor Barclay just said, please.
Okay. Okay, any other comments? No? Okay, all in favor? Okay, carried. Can maybe get Councillor Heistad back in the room. And we have correspondence and information. So I think the only correspondence we have this week is this letter from Public Safety. So I know Director Vickers is going to look into this, and there is a grant that we will be able to apply for to help with the body cam expenses for the RCMP. So she will get back to us another day on that. So we'll just have a motion then to please accept the correspondence as information. Councillor Wing? Oh, sorry.
I'll make that motion, Mayor
Saw your
Barclay.
finger. Okay, all in favor? Okay, carried. And we'll go around the room with council reports. Councillor Dunham.
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. My report is there for everyone's information. This week, I do not have a lot on my schedule. I am involved with the IWIC committee tomorrow for a program at the school campus in the morning. Other than that, I actually have a nice clear week for a change.
I'm sure we can change that. Okay, Councillor Wing.
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. I don't have anything to add to my report.
Okay, thanks, and thanks for all the info on FCM. It's awesome. Councillor Heistad.
Thanks, Your Worship. Didn't get one in this week, but I was going to mention, Councillor Dunham had mentioned the IWIC conference going on from 9 to 1. Well, it'll start off at St. Marg's, and it's going to be a young leaders event. And so I did flip you guys a text, I think it was a few days ago, that you're welcome to stop in and check it out. So, and then I was at Pride on the weekend, so thank you.
Okay, thanks. And Director Jenkins, the town of Innisfail's involved in that too, correct?
Yes, we were, I believe, supported through FCSS. Yeah.
Okay, so you'll have town of Innisfail people there, like, or you're not sure? Okay, no, it's okay. I'm just curious if Kristen was going or something. All right, Councillor Messaros.
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. It was a quiet week last week as well. Our chamber meeting was canceled last week, but I wanted to mention that we've got a new swath of kiosk advertising available for businesses in town. So I'll just put that out there. And also attended Pride on the weekend, and it was great. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councillor Bates.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything to add because I already spoke a little bit to the water thing last week. So if anybody has any questions.
Okay, thanks. And yeah, I was at Pride on the weekend, and as many of you know, I went to my 50th high school grad reunion on Saturday and Sunday. I saw that look, Curtis, thank you. And, so went to the real grad on Thursday or Friday, and then the old people's grad reunion on Saturday, Sunday. So anyway, we had 57 people here from Days of Yore, which was pretty cool. And Pride was excellent. Wish the weather would have been a little more cooperative, but this week I'm going to have the pleasure of going on a little field trip with Mrs. Nelson's kiddos around Napoleon Lake and taking the bird book and the binoculars to do a little nature scoping. So that'll be lots of fun. And then this evening we're welcoming, our Rotary Club is welcoming 50 International Rotarians into Innisfail for a dinner. The Rotary International Convention is in Calgary. There's 15,000 people there, and so there'll be a few coming up on the bus this evening to enjoy a meal here and some fellowship. All right, so we will go into upcoming events. The next big thing, of course, is good weather for Canada Day. So just have a motion. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Barclay. I always find it very self-serving at times to thank everybody, but I do want to really extend my gratitude to everybody that did attend Pride on the weekend. It was greatly appreciated, and to see not only council and the mayor, but administrative people there as well. It was a miserable day. And the fact that we had around 120 people there was phenomenal, and to see the people's smiles, and especially some of the youth that were there when they were performing, it was amazing. So I do want to say thank you for that.
Awesome, thank you.
And I'll make the motion that we
Okay.
accept upcoming events.
All right, thanks. All in favor? Okay, carried. Yeah, and thank you, Dale, for, as always, all your work and your volunteers in that event. It's great, and as I said, Saturday, I think it's, community has matured a little bit over the last 5 years and hosting that, and it's great to see, so. All right, we will go have a motion, please, to move into closed camera, in camera. Councillor Messaros?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, carried.